Hey everybody, we are back. We just finished chapter 5, and as you can see in the background, the train is going through Corellia Fortress, because that's what happens every time I save, it does change. And
Why the fortress? They wouldn't allow trains in the fortress, I'd assume.
the train's parked in the fortress, don't you remember?
The train is clearly not parked in the fortress.
It drove into the fortress. Stop nitpicking.
Well, sure, but we weren't on it then.
Yui, stop nitpicking. And yes, we were on the train when it drove into the fortress.
Oh yeah. Okay, for some reason I thought that we took some sort of military vehicle. I guess it was a military train.
No, it was an actual train. Like it was a well, probably not like a commuter train exactly, but there are trains that go into the fortress.
Okay.
Anyway.
Best defensive emplacement of the entire empire, right there.
Yeah, pretty much. So it is now mid-September. We're just fast forwarding all the way.
And a
Half
Wednesday.
a month after the incident at Corellia Fortress, a sense of lingering unease still hung over the Empire. The government increased patrols by the railway military police as part of their counter-terrorism measures.
There needs to be a bit of sarcasm there.
While the noble faction bolstered their
yes.
provincial armies, there were even rumors that they'd hired several Jaeger corps.
That's not good.
Well, no, it just means that there are going
The
to be
center of
like
everything
dozens
was
of
the
millions running
Imperial
around.
Not
Liberation
ideal.
Front.
Milliam's not a Jaeger.
Oh, she's close enough.
You mean Fees.
No, she would never be a Jaeger. She's
They
too
had
lazy.
allied with a terrorist group from the Republic of Calvert to attack the trade conference in Crossbell. And as we'd seen firsthand, had attacked Corellia Fortress in an attempt to fire the 2 railway guns stationed there.
Oh, it's nice. It's actually a nice call to detail that they grade Gideon out a little bit more.
They'd made it abundantly clear that
Wasn't he
they
not
were
there?
no mere insurgents. These were dangerous people we were dealing
Not only
with.
was he not there, it's the chick said that he's dead, that he died in Crossbell. So
And following their attempts to
Well, you don't
target
have to
Chancellor
trust her.
Osborne and the reformist faction,
I don't want to surprise you or anything,
she's a
but
terrorist.
she's a terrorist.
I kind of got that actually, weirdly.
Okay.
rumors started to spread of a possible connection between the
Oh, did
Imperial
you?
Liberation Front
That's
and
important.
the noble faction itself.
Is anyone surprised by this?
No. Well, no. The noble
Oh,
faction
somehow.
are obviously the baddies,
Okay.
and the Imperial Liberation Front is obviously the baddies. And how many baddies do you think that one game can handle?
That's kind of where I was going with that, but yeah.
Meanwhile,
It's much
new
easier for there to be a
information was filtering in
massive
from Crossbell that surprised us all.
conspiracy.
This is actually a big deal.
During the conference, one of the representatives of Crossbell's state government made the daring declaration that Crossbell would soon declare its independence, breaking free from its neighbors Calvert and Erebonia.
I thought it was independent.
It's nominally independent, but a lot of what's been going on has been that both Calvert and Erebonia claim ownership of it. And, I mean, Crossbell wants to be on its own, but both Calvert and Erebonia claim ownership of Crossbell, and that is what is fueling a lot of the tension at the moment. Because, you know, they're both... Because Crossbell is a huge economic power, or, you know, it has a huge amount of economic power for how small it is, and both countries
Sure.
want it to be part of them.
I can't think of any real-world analogs to that, because that's...
I think what I heard is that it's supposed to be a parallel to, like, Hong Kong.
I don't think Hong Kong wanted to be independent at the time.
I mean, maybe not in this case, but, like, you know, in the... I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
To no one's surprise, both the Imperial government and the noble faction dismissed it as nothing more than delusional raving. But one thing was clear. That declaration only served to increase the tension in Erebonia and across the continent.
Is that dude going to be the main character in the Crossbell games?
He is not the main character in the Crossbell games. The main character in the Crossbell game... Like, he's no more the main character in Crossbell than Chancellor Osborne is the main character in this game. Does that make sense?
Wait, we're not going to switch to playing as Chancellor Osborne?
Not yet.
We should.
cool, clear autumn day, the Academy's prestigious board of directors gathered for their first meeting of the year.
It's kind of late for that, isn't it?
No. It's not like the board of directors actually needs to decide anything important.
Okay.
Like, not anything... Certainly nothing day-to-day.
I guess that's fair. Yes, I could read.
Like
That's a conference room. Thank you.
Our department at the university has an annual board of directors meeting, and it's usually in April or May.
Oh, okay. Well, biannual. I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
Good. It seems the Academy is running like a well-oiled machine. No administrative issues to speak of. Student performance is sitting comfortably above the national average on exams and on general aptitude tests, too.
Excellent.
The second-year students seem to be having a banner year as well. The student council president in
Rufus,
particular has built
you've got a
an
little
outstanding array of extracurricular
little hair right in front of your face.
He's fine with it.
Okay, because it would be really annoying if it was me.
Trade conference, and from what I hear, she put the professional secretaries to shame. I only wish the conference could have ended on a more positive note.
What are you talking about? The thing was a blast.
Have been on a real roller coaster ride ever since.
Do-ho-ho.
Undoubtedly, what happened at the trade conference is...
Did you say it was a blast?
Yes. You're welcome.
But moving on. I couldn't help but notice in the recent exam reports that Class 1 and 2's academic performance seems to be slipping. Perhaps the preferential treatment given to the upper-class students is hindering their scholastic development?
Well, students belonging to the nobility are allowed to return home during August to learn more about their family's lands. It's a tradition here, but one I can't help but wonder if we've outgrown the need for in this modern age.
Well, obviously what happened was they went back, they got inducted into the conspiracy,
Yeah.
and they're throwing their grades to throw them all off the scent.
I mean, that's kind of what Malfoy did in Harry Potter, right?
No.
Our nation
He stopped caring about his academics because he became a Death Eater?
Fuck if I remember. The last two
all
books
are
were
rich
awful.
with tradition that makes Erebonia what it is. And I believe we have a duty to protect and uphold them. After all, does not this very institution champion the ideals of its founder, Emperor Dragos?
Indeed it does. Though I've always understood Dreigel's intent to be the founding of an academy for the people. Even 200 years ago, when education was seen as the province of the nobility, male commoners were permitted to enroll. Today, we have plenty of young women attending, and the commoners easily outnumber the nobles on campus. Perhaps it's time we started taking strides to realize Emperor Dreigel's
The nobles
true
have
idea.
one dorm building, the commoners have one dorm building, and Class 7 has one dorm building. Are the commoners all secretly homeless?
There's 3 commoner classes and 2 noble classes, remember.
Yeah, but their dorm buildings are even smaller than the,
You seem
that's
to be
true.
laboring under a few
Class 7
exceptions here. Commoners were permitted to attend, but only as retainers. Retainers served knights, who served lords, who served the emperor. That's the way the Erebonian society functioned. From that vantage, the structure of the academy in its earlier days certainly seems to have embodied that social order. And if that's so, what is there to suggest that it's not the social order itself that has become the aberration?
Well,
For one, if that were the case, it would be far easier for me to see my views put into practice. But I can hardly get a word in edgewise between you two. Well, I'd certainly enjoy a return to the way
This
things
is
were
not
in
like
Dreigel's
any of the
time,
board
at least
meetings
in
I've
that
ever gone
particular
to.
respect.
Our apologies, Your Highness.
well, our role here is to consider your views and work toward implementing them.
See what I mean? Would you be so kind as to help me out here, Principal?
I'm here to moderate this board. It wouldn't do for me to express my position on the issues at hand. That said, I'm sure your passion for reform will triumph in the end, Your Highness.
I suppose I should have known better than to look to my old teacher for sympathy.
It warms my heart to see such a fine teacher-student relationship.
Now, if I may, I'd like to steer this discussion toward a rather timely
Olivier
topic.
was taught by Osborne?
No, Van Dyke.
Oh yeah, that was Van Dyke.
We've
God,
already
I'm getting
touched
all
on
the
issues regarding
tertiary
the
characters'
Orbinet and the
names mixed
Orbital
up.
Staves, but I'd like to stress again that the adoption of new security measures for the OrbitalNet should be a top priority.
We might need actual internet security, guys.
Well, I'm certainly inclined to agree. But we'll have to rely on the Foundation directly, as things are looking a little shaky with the IBC.
You can leave that to me. The other matter I'd like to review is the use of the Orbital Staves and the Arcus units. Or more specifically, we need to talk about how Class 7 should operate from here on out.
They should probably be given all the politically important jobs.
Setting aside the fact that my daughter is a member of Class 7, I think we need to reconsider how the class should be run, in light of what happened at Corellia Fortress. While it certainly proved an excellent chance to see what the Arcus units are capable of, I have serious doubts about whether we should carry on with these field studies, given the current political climate.
It would be difficult to do so, I admit. With the terrorists at large and the problems in Crossbell unresolved, these are uncertain times.
At the very least, I believe it may be in the class's best interest to cancel this month's field.
No!
We could always resume them once the terrorists...
It's fine, the field study will come to us.
Arise, O youth, and become the foundation of the world. I'm sure you all recognize the words of Emperor Drykos. They become something of a school motto here. It's my belief that Class 7's actions at Corellia Fortress perfectly embody the spirit of that directive. They stood together to stop a tragedy in the making and, in a sense, protected the foundation of our world. No one ordered them to do it. They took action of their own free will, because they knew in their hearts what was right. Some might call it recklessness. Some may think it rash. Some may even venture to call it hubris. However, as chairman of this academy, I'm incredibly proud of what the brave young men and women of Class 7 achieved.
Your Highness.
Troubled times may lay in store for Erebonia, and for the entire continent in the months and years to come. But I believe that makes something like Class 7's field studies all the more significant. The experiences they're having now will help them find the strength and the means to press on through adversity. I can't be the only one who feels this way, can I?
They do seem to be showing remarkable growth. That much is true. Although I have no idea how much my daughter is really capable of. Immature as she is.
Yeah, but Reen's awesome, so we're fine, right?
Yes, but relying on a
he's
Super
not high enough
Saiyan
level,
is like hugging the bomb constantly.
I do wonder about my brother sometimes.
Laura's also incredibly awesome.
However, it does seem that enrolling at this academy has helped him start
Fee's awesome.
breaking out of his shell.
Milliam's kind of cool.
With the Academy Festival coming next month, we hadn't even planned a field study. So the issue at hand is just whether to hold a field study at the end of this month or not. I'd like to ask those in favor of going ahead.
This is not really the sort of
to please raise their hands.
thing a board of directors would get involved in.
The board of directors is specifically involved with Class 7's curriculum, though, so this board of directors is...
I'd like to begin by taking everyone's ideas...
It's part of this board of directors' job description.
That's very weird.
Well, Thor's is a weird school.
Like,
The festival
part of the
will run for 2
problem
days
is
next month, the 23rd and the 24th.
they meet twice a year.
Yeah.
And they're voting on, well, this month should they have a field study? Like, those timescales don't work.
I don't know.
Equipment setup and the
Fundamentally.
other preparatory work will begin
What would have
again
happened
2
if
days
their
before the start of the
biannual
festival.
meeting happened next month?
I don't know.
Or last month? Like,
But there's a lot of preparation needed before we get to that point, and the sooner we get that underway, the better.
That's all the more reason to figure out what exactly we want to do. Some of our options include displays, events, stage shows, and cafes.
generally the sort of things that boards of
Does that sound
directors
right,
are
Crow?
involved in are, like, what classes do you need in order to graduate?
Yeah, though no class I know
And
is set
not
for just
what
some
what
simple
exactly does
display.
each class involve. That's
I mean, come on. No one ever said, "Boy, we better rush to get
kind
on
of,
display."
but it's also largely the professor's
Well,
purview.
Either way, I'd like to start by soliciting some ideas from all of you. We're just brainstorming right now, so feel free to say whatever comes to mind.
No, Crow, we're not going to do whatever it is you suggest.
Would it kill you all to give just a teensy bit of cooperation?
I know. It's just...
It's kind of hard to focus right now.
You're one to talk, standing up there with your nervous fidgeting.
Well, I can't say I'm surprised.
The board of directors is in session as we speak, deciding what'll happen to our class.
And those of us with family members who sit on that board probably have even more cause for concern.
You can say that again. We can't even be sure whether there'll be a field study this month.
That's about the long and short of it. With everything that happened during last month's field study, it honestly wouldn't surprise me if they just canceled it.
I can't say I have any particular feelings of attachment to our field studies, but I refuse to accept needless changes to our curriculum, especially with my brother involved in the decision-making process.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
Makes sense to me. We also have to account for the fact that going on our field study means that much less time to prepare for the festival. So, as you can see, it presents a bit of a problem.
Man, look at you guys taking this all seriously.
I probably should have asked a little earlier, but what's this festival you guys keep talking about?
Thanks, Milliam.
Wait,
Thanks,
seriously?
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have gone over that for your benefit.
Every year, the students here organize and put on a school-wide festival. There are stage events, food stalls, and all kinds of things to see and do. And it generally falls to each of the first-year classes to provide the main attractions.
Yeah, participating is optional for the second years, since by this point they're usually focusing on their future careers. Oh, and each of the clubs generally get involved too.
Huh, that sounds fun.
This is super Japanese, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
In that case, we have to do something. We can't just let the other classes roll over us because we're small. You say that, but I've already
I
had
know.
one of the girls
We'll
from
take
class
our
one
enormous
dress
dorm
up
and use
to
it for an
declaring
Airbnb.
that This time, victory will be all ours.
What? It must have been Ferris. That sounds exactly like something she'd say.
Well, Class 1 does seem to have had it in for us ever since the midterm results were announced.
If it's all the same, I'd rather not see the House of High Arms claim yet another nominal victory. But we need to account for the fact that our class is markedly smaller than theirs is.
That's certainly true.
It'd help if we at least knew what the other classes are doing.
It kind of seems like everyone's having trouble staying focused.
Come on, everyone, get it together.
Instructor Sarah?
Isn't this a self-study period?
Oh, it was. But I thought you all might like to know that the Board of Directors meeting just adjourned a few minutes ago. So I decided to skip along down here and be the first to break the news.
Then?
What about our next field study? Are we still on?
The Chancellor's not the only one with a little too much iron in his blood. Because the board voted unanimously to have you continue your field study.
Yay.
You mean it?
So that's how it is.
You know, even though they're always hard work, I actually feel a little relieved.
Considering all that happened last month, we'll need to be especially careful this time around.
Still, it feels like our field studies are a big part of who we are as a class.
And who we are as a video game.
Yeah.
They're kind of a pain, but...
Well, there are also the cutscenes.
We should be grateful to His Highness and the directors. That's good news.
Seeing the hard road and the easy road, then picking the hard one anyway. That's youth for you.
It also sounded like His Highness and the directors will be taking off in pretty short order. So I'll let you guys out of study hall early to go see them if you want.
Oh.
If you say so.
I think I'll take you up on that.
That's a pretty ostentatious cape.
You don't make capes to be subtle.
I guess that's fair. I don't know, his cape is a little less ostentatious. Not the
it
red.
Also looks dopey.
Okay.
Like that's what happens once you start wearing a cape. You gotta just wear the cape. Wait, did Maki's dad use a limo between... Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so did, yeah, why not?
Just between cities seems like a long way to use a limo, but I guess not.
Remember in Brayhard, we used a limo inside the city.
Well, yeah, that makes more sense to me, using a limo for shorter hops. Rather than sort of a long haul, but, yeah, I guess you can do both. If you've got a shitload of money, why not?
Exactly. Yeah, let's not have the guy who's shaping up to be the big bad take a keen interest in us. That would be bad.
How bad?
Big bad?
Okay. Worth checking out.
It's actually true. But that's not good enough, apparently. I don't know that the railway guns are a necessity. That seems a little much.
Well, you can't have a good World War I without railway guns.
Okay, I guess.
I mean, what are you going to use to artillery their artillery before their artillery can artillery your other artillery?
Nukes?
In World War I?
Sure, why not?
Don't be crazy. Also, you can't make nukes with Orbman, so they're doomed.
To you again so soon. Without your intervention, the Chancellor and I would have met our maker in Crossbow.
Don't mention it. We just...
We're just relieved you're all okay, Your Highness.
Indeed. I'm glad you were able to focus
Hello?
on making a positive contribution at the conference.
Sorry, I just
Yeah?
said something
Hi.
that sounds like I didn't
Where you been?
heard. I was like, you guys know that you can control the speakers on your own side? Like, specifically for Skype?
Yeah.
Some of us just learned that. So, let's not make fun of
I
that.
could scarcely find a place to chime in once
Oh.
the Chancellor and the Republic's president got
No, of course not. Tell Bailey hi for me.
Oh, so you guys did hear that? Dang it. I thought I was being so clever.
I
Oh,
presume you're referring to his
No.
proposal for Crossbell's...
I just decided to
That's nice.
pretend
I
it was Bailey saying that.
Well, as long as both Erebonia and Calvard refuse to accept it, the likelihood of it actually happening is incredibly low. Still, they're planning to hold.
Well, it's fine. In the second Crossbell game, surely they'll succeed in declaring independence.
This is already happening during the second Crossbell game.
The third.
Yeah.
There are
I
only
thought the
two
third
Crossbell
one
games.
wasn't out yet.
So far.
The third Erebonia game isn't out yet. There are only two
Gotcha.
Crossbell games. There are three Liberal games, there are 3 Erebonia games so far, and there are 2 Crossbell games.
So there'll be plenty more chances for disputes to break out over
Oh,
the issue.
I wish my chair wasn't so noisy.
Neither of them want to lose all that sweet tax revenue from Crossbell.
Wait, they're collecting taxes from Crossbell?
So, like, fat chance the noble faction's gonna
Apparently.
take that line down.
That is not what I was expecting. Given that presumably both Calvard and Erebonia are collecting taxes at the same
I
time.
swear, this kid has all the delicacy of a rock to the face.
Better they're more running it like a protection racket where
It'd be such a
one set
shame
of
if
tax
someone were
collectors
to
comes in.
break everything.
Railway gun you.
I was hoping for a chance to see the famous Eric Getlam in action, though.
Well, of course, the way it works for protection rackets is if you've paid for the month, but then, somebody very helpful from a different game comes along,
Just a hunch.
you haven't paid for the month, essentially.
Objection overruled.
Right.
That could have gotten messy.
Honestly, it would save us all a lot of trouble if you could just refrain from saying whatever pops into your mind, too.
Lame.
Oh, who might you be?
Say, are you from the Vander family? The one who serves as the prince's bodyguard?
Oh, did Neidhart mention me? I'm Mueller Vander of the 7th Armored Division.
His voice is not what I was
The conference
expecting.
in Crossbell, so I'm in your debt as well. Glad to be able to thank you personally.
The honor is ours, sir.
It's an honor to meet a member of the esteemed Vander family.
Ah, so you're the Radiant Blade Master's daughter. And you must be a practitioner of the 8 Leaves, 1 Blade style.
I met a few of you when I was in Liberal.
I'm always happy to meet fellow students of the
You
sword.
can always tell who they are
Because they're...
the camera is constantly pointing at them.
Yep, because they're the protagonist.
Oh, and you must be the young man from Nord who my uncle wrote a reference for.
Yes, that would be me. I owe a lot to Lieutenant General Vander.
It sounds like he's in your debt as well, with everything that happened in Nord a few months ago. Well, you all seem like dependable young men and women. Perhaps the prince's idea had some merit to it after all.
I think they might have actually gotten the same voice actor for him that they had back in the Trails in the Sky games. Yeah.
See? What did I tell you?
I mean,
It's usually hard to do that sometimes.
Well, they weren't able to
getting
get
somebody after that long of a time between games.
Yeah. Especially because they did
How
the
long was it?
They did the recording for all 3 Trails in the Sky games all at once back in like 2010, 2011.
Okay.
And then they, because they didn't know when they were going to be able to translate the other games, so they just did all of the recording. Because the voice acting is just for the battles in those games.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So they just did all of the
So it's just a couple of vague screams.
vague screams and a couple of very specific lines, S-craft lines, vague screams, things like that.
Yeah.
but and so a lot of those actors they weren't able to get back for later. They had to recast Olivier for one, and they had to recast a few other characters as well. But I think if it's not the same voice actor, he's doing a really good job imitating the guy from.
Perhaps I should take this opportunity to break down social barriers by getting to know all of them in the Academy's pool.
Classic Olivier.
If you really want to work up a sweat,
Yeah.
I'd be glad to let you run back to Heimdall.
Oh, is he the dude I saw in the end of the first game?
You kept up a good sprint.
Yeah, he's the one
Who
that
started yelling about. Yeah, okay.
he tries to keep. He shows up in Chapter 4 trying to keep Olivier in line.
Yeah. He's very forgettable because he doesn't do that at all.
He has a much bigger role in second chapter
That's not surprising.
and third chapter.
No. Second chapter and third chapter, nothing really happens.
No, I mean in
Like not with Olivier.
the second game.
I think he only shows up in the first and fourth chapter.
Yes, he only shows up in the last chapter of the first game, but he has. A
And
lot
the
more to
first
do.
chapter.
You're right. But he also shows up in the second game, and has a much bigger
Right.
role in that game,
Yeah, that makes total sense.
which is called second chapter.
I wonder how long they've known each other.
No, second chapter was when we were in Bose?
No, that was chapter 1. Chapter 2 was in Rouen. Second
Oh yeah,
chapter
Rouen.
is the
I was trying to
second
remember
game.
the name of the city on the coast.
You're mixing up second chapter with chapter 2. They're two different
That
things.
is confusing, though.
Yes, I know. I absolutely blame the localizers.
Don't.
Well then,
Unless their contract demanded that they call them the second chapter in second chapter.
Falcom is the one that named it second
I
chapter.
hope we have the chance to meet again soon.
In English?
I mean, the game is called Trails in the Sky SC in Japanese. So.
Then I choose to. Then I'll blame Falcom as well. They didn't need to name it first, second, third, fourth chapter in among each game as well. Like that was a Falcom decision. Or Exceed?
Exceed, yeah.
Exceed, yeah. That was their decision.
Ooh, another practical exam. Oh boy. Yes, let's show our field study reports. That sounds like a blast.
Well, here was the time we stopped a terrorist. Here was the other time we stopped a terrorist.
Here's the
Look,
third
I'm
time
just
we
getting
stopped
sick
a
of these terrorists, okay? We've only stopped the terrorists 3 times.
Yeah.
The first time we stopped the terrorists, but we didn't know they were terrorists at the time, so it didn't
Well, we knew
count.
they were doing something terroristy. Like, they were trying
Yeah,
to
but
incite a war between Calvard and Erebonia. That's Terrorist 101.
No, that was the second time. The first time was
gotcha. Then we've talked
in
to
the
them 4
farming
times.
camp. Well, that one, like I said, that didn't count because we didn't know they were terrorists.
But then, okay, so yeah, and then we intervened with them 3 times.
Yeah.
Time for some espionage. Or, I guess it's not espionage.
It's some seriously Sailor Moon levels of coincidence here.
What are we talking about?
In Sailor Moon, basically, you meet, the character or the place of business
Oh, sure.
as oh, look, let's go check that out. Oh no! This is the one place the monsters are attacking right now.
Yeah. Well, that...
And this game is doing a fair bit of that. Like, it's not like, the Imperial Liberation Front?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. It's not like the Imperial Liberation Front is operating everywhere at the same time, so of course we're running into them.
Right.
They've got one major operation,
So,
it seems,
to be fair,
going on every now and again.
To be fair, the one at Nord was really the only real coincidence, because we just happened to be at Nord the same time that they were doing that thing. Heimdall was it was the Midsummer Festival, and all of the royalty we were there to be part of the festival, and they targeted the festival. With Garrelia Fortress, we were at the fortress while the trade conference was happening, and they targeted the fortress while the trade conference was happening.
That one was a coincidence. The Garrelia Fortress one was absolutely a coincidence.
I guess you could say that.
Why were we at the Garrelia Fortress?
To see the fortress in action
Which is
during
a
the trade
weird
conference.
thing to do.
Right, but the fortress shouldn't be doing anything during
well,
the trade
to be
conference.
fair, it should be
It's a fortress.
fortifying.
It's the fortress right on the border of the country where the state where the
Yeah, but
trade
to be
conference
honest, if I was told, like, oh, we just so happen to happen these kids, like, I'd be like, that's a weird, like, specifically requested witness. Like...
Yeah, that's fair.
Even if they're, like, members of the ROTC.
I mean, that would be a little bit less, but if unless you were to show that was a regular occurrence, it would be weird. Like, if every month one of the classes went to the fortress to check it out, then I would say it's a coincidence. But the fact that this was, like, a unique situation does feel weird. Like, we were supposed to witness certain things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Also, us being selected for, like, they tried to justify us being selected to
But that made no
do
sense.
security stuff. It was kinda thin.
Because we are not fully, like if I was another country and I found out the trade conference security was given to students, I would be like, this was all on purpose. Like, all of it. You
Well, no, I was talking about in
yeah.
Heimdall, the Midsummer Festival security.
That makes more sense.
Why does Erebonia have nobody who can work as, a bodyguard service? Like a professional class of people who protect people and places for a living? And have a better way of solving it than running towards the bombs after they go off? Oh yeah, there's gonna be the festival. It's just gonna be Milliam showing off Lammy, isn't it?
Kinda. Okay, I already did save, but I'm actually going to save here and stop the recording for just a second. So,
okay.
Everyone stop everything, and we'll be back in just a minute.